Can you believe we are in week 3 already? Do you feel like you're getting a better sense of the correctional system? In week 2, we discussed jails versus prisons, jail designs, and management issues. So this week we will expand on that knowledge from week 2 and focus on issues facing correctional inmates, the roles of inmates, and management. Our learning objectives in week 3, we will assess prison social structure and its importance to correctional control. We will analyze correctional institutions' functions of providing human service versus a method of control, and identify the impacts, impediments, and factors correctional administrators face in running correctional institutions and correctional systems. Imprisonment. What does it mean to you? Do you automatically think of a jail or a prison? When I think of imprisonment, I think of men in orange jumpsuits sitting around watching TV, working out, and fighting. Is this view unrealistic? Is this what imprisonment is all about? According to our textbook, Corrections and Introduction, prisonization focuses on the adoption of specific behavioral patterns that are consistent with the culture of prison. Like it was stated in the textbook, this reminds me of the movie Shawshank Redemption. If you've not seen it, please see it when you can. Living in this hostile environment means that they must conform to the rules not only of prison itself, but also of the other prisoners that make up this new society. As a result, these non-violent offenders may experience anxiety and changes in their personality, as well as changes in their judgment making. Offenders witnessing violent behaviors while in prison can psychologically damage the offender and the way that they view human beings. Garbettian found 5 roles of inmates: the square John, which seeks to do his time with the least amount of problems; the right guy, most opposed to the expectations of the staff; the politician, has contracts with inmates and staff; outlaw, most feared and resort to violence; and the ding, and they fade into the background. If you were sent to prison, what type of inmate would you be and why? Looking at the table, the politician type inmate is typically a divorced, non-white inmate with less than a high school education. The outlaw type of inmate is typically unskilled with a juvenile arrest record. The right guy type of inmate is typically having a juvenile incarceration record, and the ding type of inmate has had prior felony convictions. According to our textbook, there are 4 pains of imprisonment. Deprivation of liberty, which is the purpose of prison, must find what to cope with being labeled a prisoner or inmate. Deprivation of goods and services, no longer able to enjoy the same goods that were afforded on the outside of prison. Deprivation of sexual contact, denied heterosexual relationship. Have you heard of the term gay for the stay? Some inmates will engage in same-sex relations while in prison. Denial of autonomy. The inmate does not make decisions about his or her life. There are 3 types of subcultures. The thief subculture is composed of individuals who hold specific values. According to Irwin and Cressy, these values are common among thieves across the nation. The thief subculture values the notion that criminals should neither trust nor cooperate with police, should not betray other thieves, should be reliable and cool-headed, and be solid in the eyes of other inmates. The convict subculture is uniquely tied to the workings of the prison. These are individuals who have had extensive experiences with jails and prisons and have felt their deprivations on many occasions. Legitimate subculture. In prison views institutional rules and regulations as part of doing time. They are the inmates who seek status in the prison by following all of the approved mechanisms of the prison's administration, such as involvement in the institutional newspaper or in the inmate council. They have minimal involvement in the inmate social system and typically do their time with as little trouble as possible. In the authoritarian regime, fear and intimidation are commonplace. Among strategies to control the inmate population through the cultivation of prison rats, men who leak information to guards about activities of other inmates. After the authoritarian regime, a new system was needed. The new equilibrium was fueled by the following sources: Department of Corrections, educated administration, teachers, counselors, and social workers, legal system, gangs, and guards. 3 models have been developed to define the responsibility of prison management. They are the control, responsibility, and consensual model. Control places authority on prison administrators. In this model, prison administrators are inflexible and apply strict control measures over prisoners' lives. Relationships between prison staff members are formal and professional. Staff must follow a strict routine to ensure the maintain security and control within the prison. Prison staff executives swift punishment to maintain the status quo when inmates violate prison rules and regulation. This model offers minimal use of personal discretion. The responsibility model is inmates have some control, less disorder. Prison administrators believe they can maintain order by placing limitations on institutional control and allowing inmates to self-govern within a restricted security environment. Communication between prison administration and staff is informal. Management and frontline prison staff communicate face-to-face. The decision-making process is up to management and does not involve the inmate. Consensual is a hybrid of the control and responsibility models, providing greater flexibility. There is less disorder due to inmates having some control within the prison system. Supports having a less restrictive correctional environment and is liberal regarding policies governing inmate grooming, movement, and property. Communication between prison administration and staff is both formal and informal, and prison staff can use their own judgment when making decisions. A supermax prison houses the most dangerous criminals in the United States. 44 states have prisons with supermax controls. Some notable criminals in supermax include Unabomber Ted Kaczynski, shoe bomber Richard Reed, Oklahoma City bombing Terry Nichols. A typical room consists of a 4-inch wide window, a shower on a timer, immovable bed, stool, and desk. In Chapter 6, we will look at correctional administration. According to our textbook, there are 3 considerations that affect administration of corrections: political, economic, and cultural. Politically, correctional administration is shaped by the distribution of power. Power is the ability to influence or obtain compliance, either a result of formal authority or the development of informal influence. Our government and social arrangements and the ways people operate and their beliefs regarding these arrangements are crucial facets of the overall context for correctional administration. Economically, the most visible concerns have to do with the general state of the economy and potential economic impact on corrections and its administration. Obviously, times of national economic recession are times when fewer resources are available to do the work of government in general. Things like extra programs in the prison are at risk of being cut during economic downtimes. Culturally, we must understand the importance of the attitudes, orientations, and beliefs that predominate the discussion of what corrections is supposed to accomplish. Bureaucracy is defined as the administration of a government, chiefly through bureaus or departments staffed with non-elected officials. Bureaucracy in prisons and in government is a problem. When I worked for the state, we would have some issues with bureaucracy. However, it has gotten even worse. My former co-workers have told me to even send out an email, they have to have 3 different people look it over. It is no wonder it takes so long for anything to get done in the government. Prisons have internal and external concerns. Some internal concerns include discipline, grievances, religion, recreation, and healthcare. Some external concerns include unions, vendors, rights groups, and families. Our correctional system must deal with special populations. According to our textbook, the following have become specialized areas of concern for correctional administration: treating chronic diseases such as tuberculosis, asthma, heart disease, diabetes, and so forth; treating depression; addressing post-traumatic stress disorder; managing youthful offenders incarcerated in adult institutions; managing transgender offenders; managing sex offenders, managing death row, and providing for pregnant inmates in facilities for women. One of the major concerns in the prison system is HIV and AIDS. The number of prisoners living with HIV varies between countries. America has the highest prison population in the world, around 1.5% of whom are HIV positive. Although this figure has declined, HIV is still higher for incarcerated populations than for the general population. In fact, it has been estimated that between 17 and 25% of people living with HIV in America pass through the correctional system. Not all institutions test for HIV. Should all prisons test for HIV? If a prison does not test for HIV and an inmate contracts the disease while in prison, has he suffered cruel and unusual punishment? Well, that is week 3 in a nutshell. What questions do you have about the correctional system that I could answer for you? Has your opinion of the correctional system changed in any way? I look forward to discussing the models of institutional control along with prison administration this week. If you have any questions, please let me know. Have a great week.